trading to me is like martial arts, right? Like everybody has their own style. And I've been bullish on gold for the past 3-4 weeks. Is I tend to hold my losses more than my winners. Getting paid out, that changed the game for me.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Davis. I'm here with FunderPro, and today we have another FunderPro interview with one of our funded traders, Carlos Copin Jr. How you doing, my friend? How are you?
I'm great, Tyler. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to talk to you today. And why don't we start off? You can just give us a little bit background about yourself, what you did before trading, how you got into trading, and kind of just go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, my name is Carlos. I am a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a real estate investor as well. I've been doing real estate for the past 12 to 13 years. And, I have a lot of time on my hands, right? So if I'm in between deals or, in the middle of a deal, I work a couple hours a week, right? So, again, I have a lot of time on my hands. So I actually got into trading, to make a very long story short, Tyler. During COVID was a very difficult time, right? My real estate business was in the toilet. Like, this was unprecedented, right? Deals were falling apart. Everybody's freaking out. So I was like, man, I got to think of something. So my cousin calls me and he's like, bro, listen, I'm doing this thing. It's called Forex. You need to jump into it. It's a lot of great opportunity. So he sent me, I think it was baby pips. And I'm like, I like it, but I got to focus on saving my business. Right. So, I dabbled into it for like a week, and then I was like, you know what? I got to focus on saving my business. So by the grace of God, things turned around. Business started booming again. Now, fast forward 2 years, 2022, my buddy Andy, who's an investor, was like, hey, dude, I'm in Forex. And I'm like, my cousin told me about this. And he's like, well, listen, here's the great part. There are companies out there that will actually fund you an account if you pass the challenge. It's another great opportunity to make some money. So I said, okay. So I started with another prop, got funded, and actually blew my account. And then I don't know how I came across FunderPro, but you guys came across, it was either IG or, I was looking for another prop because that prop had stopped taking US clients. So I'm like, man, I need somebody reputable. So I came across FunderPro, and I've been rocking with you guys ever since, man. But I've been in the game a solid 2 years.
Awesome.
Trading.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's funny. I think the COVID era, when everybody was stuck at home, I think Forex and trading in general really kind of started to pop off on social media.
Yeah, definitely.
That's when a lot of people got introduced to the industry. Absolutely.
100%.
Before we move on from that, I guess, just so the people can know, what kind of real estate investing do you do? Are you into house flips? Do you do rentals? Do you do more commercial stuff?
So I'm in the South Florida market, and the bulk of my business, about 90% of my business, is wholesaling. So I wholesale real estate. So basically what that means is I find properties, right? I get them under contract, and I have a network of investors that I flip these contracts to. So here's a great example. On Friday, I just did a deal. I locked it up for 200. So from the seller, I locked the contract up at 200,000, and I marketed to my network list, and I flipped it to another investor for 270,000. So fast forward 2-3 weeks, the closing process, lien search, all that stuff. We close $70,000 deal. So that's the bulk of my business is wholesaling.
Nice.
But a lot of my deals are very large. So, I can do a large deal and, not have to worry about, income for a while, so I'm not pressed. So again, I have a lot of time on my hands. So it really, my business works hand in hand with trading,
Yeah.
because I don't really start my real estate day until, after I'm done trading, which may be 11 or 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll stick mostly to trading, but I figured I'd ask. I think it's important for traders to consider other income streams. Relying on just your trading income can be a stressful thing to deal with, and having those other income streams can be an advantage to your trading. So
Absolutely.
I just wanted to kind of
Highly
ask.
recommend having other sources of income. And I mean, the fact is, the average millionaire, I think, has 5 to 6 different streams of income. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, people. Definitely, diversify your income sources and have more than one for sure.
Absolutely, that's great advice. Now, you said your cousin showed you baby pips, which was kind of your introduction. Is that where you learned your strategy? Did you learn from anybody else? What is your trading style like? How do you trade? What would you consider your strategy to be?
Really, really great question. So flashback to 2022 when my buddy introduced me to Forex. He introduced me to this like MLM, get up where, they want you to sign people up and, on the side, they teach you Forex. So,
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in signing any, like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. I want to learn how to trade. So I called my cousin up again. I said, Alex, I'm back into Forex and, I want to learn. So he's like, dude, I'm a part of this really great group. And there were 2 guys at the time, but my coach now, Sakeem Bradley, he's big on fundamentals, right? So I joined the Discord group, and Sakeem has his own, solo group now. But I'm big on fundamentals, and fundamentals, in my opinion, move the market. And of course, trading to me is like martial arts, right? Like everybody has their own style, and
Sure.
One particular style is not better than the other. Like you do what works for you, right? But I've been taught in the way of understanding fundamentals and understanding that fundamentals move the market, but also your technicals have to be on point as well. So for the last 2 years, I've spent, I only trade gold, by the way.
Okay.
So I've spent, my last 2 years learning fundamentals, learning how the dollar and gold correlate, how the yields in the dollar correlate. And, when Powell gets up there and he says something, how it can move the market, and how NFP and unemployment data and geopolitical tensions and market sentiment, all that stuff comes together, to help shape and move the market. And, you use your technicals to, align and figure out, okay, this is a great support area. So if gold hits this area, it's a great point for me to jump in, buy, sell, etc. So I would say I'm a technical fundamental trader.
Okay. So are you somebody who likes to trade the news, as in you'll have a position on leading up to the news and holding through the news, or do you wait for the news to be announced and then react from there, or how would you describe that part of your trading?
Great question. And this is something great. About a year ago, Tyler, getting into props and stuff, a lot of the prop firms have the 2-minute, 5-minute rule. You can't trade before news. So, I thought that, that would set me back. But as I grew as a trader and began to understand fundamentals more and more, that rule actually helps, because I would get into a trade right as soon as the news drops and I would get waxed, right? Like destroyed, accounts blown.
Those candles get crazy.
Man. But, I've come to understand that, let's say NFP's tomorrow, right? It drops at 8:30. I'm not taking a trade till maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I like to let the news drop. I like to let the dust settle, let the market do what it does, and then enter a trade. And that's how I trade the news. No more impulsive trading. I let the market, do what it needs to do, let the dust settle, and then you take a trade accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. And as a trader, those days often can be the most volatile, where you can catch a really good move, but if you get in too early and you're holding through those news, those spikes get crazy. You're gonna get wrecked 9 times out of 10,
100%.
most likely. So,
100%.
but once the market digests that move a little bit, I agree, they can be nice days to trade.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So, talking a little bit more about your strategy, do you have specific sizing rules that you use? Do you trade just the New York session? Do you ever trade any other sessions? Obviously, you said you trade gold, which has been on a hell of a bull run recently, trading at all-time highs. So, when you enter a position, will you scale into a position? Will you ever add to a position? Do you actively manage your position? Dive into your strategy just a little bit more for me, if you can.
Sure, absolutely. So I start looking for gold moves in the Asian session, right around 9-10 p.m. So if gold hits a support or resistance area, I may dive into the trade. And then I would wake up London session maybe around 2-3 just to see how my trade is doing. And if my trade is looking good, I'm in profit, I'll set my stop loss to break even and maybe ride it into the New York session, depending on if there's data or not. Because if there's data, then I need to get out of the trade, right? So I'm constantly looking at the markets and looking at the charts, and just kind of waiting for the right setup. To be successful in this game, you have to be patient, right? I try my best, and I'm not perfect, especially this week. I haven't been, but I try my best to take A+ setups, right? So that means gold is hitting support, gold is hitting resistance, and what's the market sentiment? How is the market feeling? What's going on geopolitically? We've been on a bull run, with the 50 basis point drop. So I take all those things into consideration before getting into the market. But yeah, I've been bullish on gold for the past 3-4 weeks, but this past week has kind of threw me for a loop a bit.
Yeah. When markets can be tricky to trade at all-time highs, because you start to think, like, how much higher can it go? And if you try to rush and time the top, sometimes it's like stepping in front of a moving train. So those markets at all-time highs can get a little tricky for sure.
I started to second guess myself this week, Tyler. I'm like, man, what is going on here?
Listen, we all go through those struggles, but I'm glad you said that. I think you said you're about a solid 2 years into your journey now. What have some of your struggles been? Did you struggle with revenge trading, or just psychology, holding your winners? What were some of your struggles early on, and maybe what were some things that you did to get over those struggles?
Yeah, well, I've been a victim to it all. Revenge trading, right? FOMO, seeing a gold move, take off, and then trying to jump into the trade in the middle of the range, and then end up getting spanked. Something that I still struggle with, and I'm going to be completely honest and transparent with you, Tyler, is I tend to hold my losses more than my winners, right? Because sometimes I'm so biased or confident in my position that it's like, bro, that trade is not working out, but there's a possibility it may turn around, and it's like, it's not going to turn around, and you end up holding it anyway. But for the most part, I am pretty accurate with trades that I pick and decide to execute on. So oftentimes my big winners, if I get into a little drawdown and I see the market beginning to turn, I'll go ahead and jump into another position. Now, as far as lot sizes, I'm pretty standard at 5 lots on gold. And, like I said, if I get into a little drawdown and I'm very, very confident about my move, I'll go ahead and enter another position. And, by the time I'm done with that trade, I'm up $6,000-7,000. So
You'll add to a winning trade. You're saying, like, if the trade's working out in your favor and you're
no, if the trade is not working in my favor.
Okay. So you'll average into a trade. You'll average into a trade, essentially.
Absolutely. But I usually don't add to my winners. I just kind of let them rock.
Just adjust your stop loss either to break even or trail in profit.
Trail my stop loss, especially if the market's really volatile at the moment. I like to just trail my stop loss, nice and easy, and go that way, because I can't tell you how many times, Tyler, I'm in profit and something will happen and the market will turn on me, and it's like, man, I really should have stepped my stop loss to break even.
Reduce a little risk.
Yeah. So, that's still something that I'm working on. I still feel that I'm so new in the game. Most traders that I speak to that are successful have been in the game 3, 4, 5 years.
For sure.
So I still have a lot to learn. I'm thankful for the success that I've had, but I know that I've just scratched the surface and I'm just getting warmed up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I know obviously as a prop firm, we feel it's a great opportunity for traders, but the stats don't lie. It's still difficult for a lot of traders who go through this and never get to that payout, or it takes them a really long time. So to be a trader who's been at it for 2 years and to already receive a payout is definitely speaks to your
getting paid out. That changed the game for me, right? Like that, and not only me, but so many other people, because I got a lot of buddies that we chat every day. We hold each other accountable, and them seeing that was not only a game changer for me, but for them. It lit a fire in them as well.
Yeah, and if he can do it, I can do it. Yeah.
You guys at FunderPro have been phenomenal. I mean, paid out 30 minutes, like no glitches, no, funny business. Just
we don't mess around with those payouts. Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are on point, man. Like, you guys are really a huge blessing, and I can't say enough about.
Thank you. That's awesome. And that was gonna be one of my questions for you, is just how your experience was with FunderPro. So obviously we appreciate the kind words. With FunderPro, what account size do you like? Do you like a certain dollar amount? Do you trade the fast track, the standard, the swing trade accounts? What has been kind of your go-to?
It's 200K or bust, baby. Nothing else. 200K account or bust. That's all I work with. I do the regular 2-phase account. The consistency rule in the beginning bothered me a bit, but I got to tell you, it's made me a better trader. Because with that other prop firm that I got funded with, I got funded off of a lucky trade. It was like an NFP trade, and I, jumped in, blew my account, as soon as I got it. But with FunderPro, that consistency rule, it's hard to get lucky and pass a FunderPro challenge. Like, you got to have some kind of skill, and that consistency rule really brought the best out of me. It's like, stop trying to hit home runs, be consistent, be patient, take your time, small wins. And, before you know it, you got your account and you're in there. But
And really, that's why it's there. Yes, we A-book our traders. So it's important for us, just from a risk standpoint, to make sure that the traders we're funding didn't get funded off of a one lucky trade, right? So it's important from that aspect. But at the same time, too, it's in place because we've heard a lot of traders say that once you realize this is the way to do it, once you get into the funded account, to hit those small wins, hit those base hits, let that add up, it helps you build better habits to where you're not just gambling through the challenge and just trying to get through it, So
100%, man. Yeah. And FunderPro is one of the few prop firms that actually are for the trader. Most props, they have little quirks and little rules that are very questionable, but every move that you guys make, it really is in favor of the trader, because you guys, you A-book you're funded traders. So you want guys that can, and girls that can really trade. So I get it. I absolutely get it.
We want to give our traders as much information, as much education that they can, because we want to see them win. When they win, we win. It's a team effort.
100%, man. I love you guys, and I pray that our working relationship will last a very, very long time, because you guys are the best, man. And I had no problem getting on this call and bragging about you guys, because there's so many props that are just scamming people and stealing from traders. And I feel like FunderPro doesn't get the flowers and the clout that you guys deserve, but the people need to know that you guys are out there and you guys are crushing it, man.
Yeah. So we'll hear people complain about the consistency role, or maybe that our challenges aren't the easiest to pass or the cheapest, but you'll never hear anybody complain about our payouts ever, because they're backed by winning trades in the market, and they come through quick. And so I think most real traders would agree that that's the most important part when choosing a prop firm is
100%.
trust that your payout is going to come, right?
100%. 100%.
So if you could go back to the beginning of your trading career and tell yourself one piece of advice, is there any one golden nugget that you have for the traders that will be watching this?
That's a great question. And the first thing I would say is to take care of yourself. And what I mean by that, Tyler, is, I've been on a health journey, and I just recently lost 130 pounds, right?
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. My highest weight was like 380, 390. I'm 250 pounds now. And, want to lose another 25 pounds. But I say that to say this, that the second that I got disciplined in my life personally with my health, it transitioned over to me becoming a better trader, because I became more disciplined, right? So, if I could rewind the hands of time and go back, I would tell myself, be more disciplined, right? Stop eating the processed crap, stop drinking the sodas and the juices and all the stuff that was harming my body, and take better care of my body. Get in the gym, exercise, and really take care of my body, because in me doing that, my mental health improved, and I just became a sharper business person, a sharper trader. I just became a better person all around. So, I encourage everybody that's watching this interview, take care of yourself, right? Drop the drugs, drop the alcohol, whatever your vices are, drop those things, and watch how you becoming a better person will transition over into you becoming a better trader. A disciplined person is a good trader. So that's the number one thing I would say. The second thing I would tell myself is to get into fundamentals and understanding what moves the market sooner. Because if you can understand what moves the market, that's going to give you an edge, right? And you can understand why gold is bullish at the moment, or why the NASDAQ may be tanking, or whatever it is. When you understand why the market is doing what it's doing, it gives you an edge, right? So, and I know there are traders out there that hate fundamentals, and that's okay. But I really believe that the fundamentals have helped me in the long run. So that's what I would recommend to myself.
Awesome. The things you said about the discipline in other areas of your life, I couldn't agree more. I think that's one of the best pieces of advice that a trader could have. A lot of traders like to say that, trading is one of the hardest things to do in the world. And yes, it can be to one extent, but it's also a pretty simple thing in terms of you're kind of sitting there, you're hitting a couple buttons. The hard part really is the patience, the risk management, the all these things that require discipline, having the right mindset and that kind of thing. So anyone, in my opinion, can learn trading. You can learn technicals. You can learn what certain fundamentals mean, what moves the market, that kind of thing. That's not really that difficult to learn. The hard part, in my opinion, for most people is the discipline portion of trading. So I think that piece of advice that you gave is spot on 100%.
Yeah. If your mind is clear you're going to be a better trader. So just, stay sharp and don't get into things that are going to, alter your mind or affect how sharp you can be.
Absolutely. I think that's a great piece of advice. I'll ask you maybe one or two more questions about your strategy here, and I won't keep you too much longer. But you had mentioned that you just trade gold, but you obviously said that you pay attention to fundamentals and what certain decisions might mean, how that might affect the U.S. dollar, that kind of thing. Do you watch multiple assets? Like, do you watch the Euro USD, or do you watch the Nasdaq or the SPX, and do you pay attention to any other names within the stock market, or do you use any sort of tools like that within your trading, or are you just locked in on the fundamentals and how they affect gold and the gold chart?
Yeah, so when I'm trading gold, especially after a fundamental event, I'm watching three things. Obviously, I'm watching gold, I'm watching the dollar, which is DXY, and I'm watching the 10 yields. Because dollar and 10 yields, when there is a fundamental event, they sort of move the same way. And usually dollar and gold will move the opposite way. So a great example is jobs data came out just yesterday, the day before, and the jobs data came out good, right? So that means that more jobs were created in the US. So when more jobs are created in the US, that means stronger dollar. Stronger dollar means that gold is bearish. So, when the data was dropped and the jobs data was released and more jobs were created, and I saw the dollar shoot up, the DXY, that was confirmation that that gold would go bearish. So I just kind of, again, wait for the markets to settle, keep my eye on the dollar, keep my eye on the 10 yields. And if I can see those two reacting and going bullish, I know pretty much that I'm going to be okay if I sell gold at that time.
Awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. That was a great informative answer. So thank you for that. So you just gave us a great explanation on how you will use fundamentals and different catalysts with your trades. But you mentioned earlier you also use the technicals to kind of time your trades or your entries. Is there a certain time frame that you watch, that you use for entries?
Yeah, great question. So I enter all my trades on the 15, but when I mark up my charts, I zoom out to the 4-hour, the 1 hour, the 15, and sort of look for those points where gold is reached and then rejected, or reached a point and bounced off. And I just sort of set my zones, that my support and resistance that way. And I mean, the technicals are so important because, in my opinion, if your technicals are not on point, right, it affects the way you set your stop losses and your take profits, right? Because if you have a certain zone marked off and it's not well marked, you can think, oh, this is a good stop loss, and gold will just blow past that. Or you can say, oh, this is a great take profit, and gold will never reach it. So, the technicals are just as important. But, to make a long story short, I'm looking at the 4-hour, the 1 hour, the 15, and the 5 when I'm marking up my zones.
Okay, great. The stop loss you mentioned is the stop loss. So are you basing your stop loss area off the technicals on the chart, or are you basing it off of essentially your risk tolerance? Like, I'm going to risk 0.5%, or I'm going to risk 1% on this trade.
I'm basing it off of the technicals on the chart. So I like to put my stop loss below support or above resistance, depends on if I'm buying or I'm selling.
Okay. And what kind of risk tolerance do you like to trade with? Do you risk a certain percentage per trade?
No, I don't risk a certain percentage. In my mind, I kind of know how much I'm willing to lose on a particular trade. But I don't necessarily trade percentages, to be honest. Like, I'm just, and I don't know if it's a me thing, but I just kind of, in my mind, I'm a numbers guy, and I know, okay, on this trade, I know this trade is a little riskier, So I may be only willing to risk $2,000 loss versus, I'm really confident about this trade. So I'm going to step my stop loss is a little deeper. I may be willing to lose $5,000 to make 10 grand. So it just depends on, is the trade backed by fundamentals or is this just a technical trade? Yeah.
Cool. So I'm trying to think if there's any other questions that I would have about your strategy. The one more question with your trade management. You mentioned you would average into a trade. Do you take trims, for instance? Like, will you take partial profits, or do you ride full size to your profit target?
Yeah, lately, Tyler, I found that when I take partials, I've been shortchanging myself a little bit. I feel like whenever I take partials, like the trade just dies. So that's a great question, and I would say I'm 50-50. Like tomorrow's NFP, when I get into a trade and I see a certain amount of profit, I will definitely take partials because that data is so strong and it pushes the market for so long versus a technical trade that's not fundamental backed. I'll just, close out of a position and be done. But because it's NFP and depending on the data, if it's, the data's really good or really bad, gold might travel a little longer than it usually does. So I may, see, okay, this profit's good. I'll just let the rest run. So it really depends on the situation.
So do you have a bias if NFP data tomorrow is bad or good, how that will affect gold? Do you currently have a bias on that?
Yeah. So if NFP is good, that means that gold will sell off, and I'm still bullish on gold. So if gold does sell off, I may jump in for a quick scalp and be in and out. Versus if the data is bullish for gold, I may ride that out and let a runner run. But I'm super bullish still with all of the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, the wars, the stuff happening at the docks. Americans are a little concerned about the economy right now. So that's why I'm still bullish on gold, because when there's market fear, gold is bullish. So you turn on the TV, there's a lot going on right now, Tyler. There's a lot going on. So
there is a lot going on right now. You're not lying about that, my friend. Not at all.
Yeah. So I think there's a little correction going on right now, but I think the bulls are still here, and I think gold will hit 2,700 before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that's good advice in a bull market of any kind, whether you're trading gold, whether you're trading the indexes. I'm not much of a Forex pair trader myself, but when you're in a bull run, like we, starting from last November through most of the year, we've been pretty bullish in the indexes. And I kind of lately things have sort of started to turn. We're ranging a little bit more, but you kind of said you might take a short scalp, but hold a long winner longer. And I think that's kind of a good just rule of thumb. And when a market's in a strong bull market, if you can catch a nice scalp short, great. Try to hold your longs a little bit longer if you can. And I think that's a good way to handle a bullish market. Is there any other advice that you have for any traders watching, whether it's trading advice, life advice, business advice, any kind of final thoughts that you have for the viewers?
100%, man. Life advice, put God first, put your family first. That's what really matters the most. Put your health first. Take care of yourself. If you're on the fence about FunderPro and you're watching this interview, bro, FunderPro is the best. Like, sign up. Like, don't waste any time. But that's my main thing is put God first, put your family first, put yourself first, your health first. And we're here for a good time, not a long time. So stay focused, put in the work. You want to be a successful trader. You're watching this interview and you're struggling. Listen, I struggled for 2 years to become profitable. Don't give up. Stay focused, invest in yourself. Find a mentor, that can help you. Again, my mentor Sakim has been, so instrumental in helping me understand fundamentals, understand the market, and become a better trader, as well as my accountability partners. Trading is a very lonely game. So I encourage you guys to find accountability partners like my cousin or my buddies that can hold you accountable when you're doing crazy stuff on the charts. Bro, pump your brakes. You're going crazy. Yeah. Pump your brakes. You're going crazy. Reset. Take your time. So, get a mentor, get accountability partners that can help you, and you can talk about your trades with. When you're having a bad day, you can share that. When you're having a good day, you can share that. So having accountabilities, having a mentor helps tremendously. You got to invest in yourself.
Awesome. And that's awesome. That's a great piece of advice. Once again, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us today and talk about your trading experience and your experience with FunderPro. It's been awesome talking with you. And one other thing I'll leave you with, another announcement they made today is they're expecting to launch FunderPro futures before I
saw that before the end of the year.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've dabbled in futures at all or if you're familiar with it. But that should be coming out here soon. So that'll be a new offering that we have. It'll be set up slightly different. I don't think we have everything totally ironed out yet, but that's something to be on the lookout for. So
man, you guys are crushing it, and that's the great sign of a good company, right? It's a company that continues to grow, a company that continues to innovate, and you guys are doing just that, man. I mean, adding futures, updating the dashboard. I mean, you guys are the best of the best, man.
Well, thank you, Carlos. I appreciate it, man. Once again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll be able to connect again here sometime soon.
Let's do it, man. You got my number. Give me a call whenever you need me. I'm here.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Take care, man.